G'day guys, Christori here. Today I'm going to go through 10 snubs from the 2021 AFL Draft who I think should be looked at during both the preseason supplemental period and during the mid-season draft. So they're players I'd certainly be tracking and keeping a close eye on. So the highest rated player in my power rankings that went undrafted was Kade Dittmar, who I had at 29. So for me, really strong ball winning mid. Love his energy around the ball, just the pressure he provides. He's that really big body through there, but he's one of those really influential, high impact per possession players where you really feel the impact and sort of imprint that he's sort of, I guess, putting on the game. So, he's one of the juniors that I really liked during the under-19 champs for WA. He really controlled that midfield along with Angus Baker and Matthew Johnson as that third really good sort of, I guess, player through there, and really that sort of, I guess, secondary ball winner behind Sheldrick. So he was very impressive during those games, and I thought he was really unlucky, honestly, not to be drafted as someone that I thought late or rookie would have been picked up, but he's someone where, really unique to my board, I rated him quite a bit higher just because I really like that impact that he can have on games. Next up, so I've got Bailey Rogers. So he was the best player in the Waffle this year, so he won the Sandover medal, so he was 32 in my draft board, and ultimately with him I really like the impact he has both midfield and forward. If I really wanted that rotational piece where maybe it's a fourth best midfielder perhaps just to really improve my midfield and have that guy who can also rotate forward, I think Bailey Rogers would have been a sensational pick, and I think it's a real missed opportunity, in fact, that clubs have missed him. So I reckon really he needs to be really tracked very closely, and really clubs should be looking at him very closely during the preseason supplemental period, because I think he's really a waste of talent not having him on an AFL list. Because a bit like, say, a Tim Kelly going back a few years ago, back when he was drafted, well, Bailey Rogers is at a pretty similar stage, honestly, not all that far behind where a Tim Kelly was at that same age and stage. So I think it was really someone where he should have gone probably a little bit later in the draft and would have been a real sort of value pick there. Next up, we've got Blake Schlensog. So we're looking at another Waffle player and another mature ager, and he was a former Geelong Category B rookie. So, and look, he's previously been sort of a bit of a forward or ruck, but what he did in the first half of last year as a key defender was sensational. So in the 2021 season. So just seeing how he read the play behind the ball, it's among the best I've seen, where he just reads it off the opposition's boot, tracks their eyes, knows where to be to get those intercept marks. And he's a good ball user. He's about a 99 kilos, so he's certainly big enough, moves very well. So I think, again, he's another player where he's just wasted not being on an AFL list. And over the second half of the season, he was playing forward, had a few good games forward, but then sort of dwindled off a bit, just not really being great as a forward. But as a key defender, I'd recruit him with confidence. So I thought really maybe as a rookie he would have been a good get potentially for a team, but just wasn't picked. So certainly one where if I wanted that ready-made key defender, he's the first guy on my list, and one I'd really make a priority to recruit. Moving on from there, so at 35 in my power rankings, we've got Angus Baker. So he's someone who's been on the radar for me for a number of years and just keeps getting overlooked, and I really think clubs are missing out here. So in the NEFL previously, he's been, as a rebounding defender, that 30-plus disposal a game guy who just gets an incredible amount of intercept possessions. And then this year, of course, he transferred over to the VFL and really dominated there. So, and with the ease with which his play translated, for me, he's really that best rebounding, intercepting, sort of medium to tallish sort of defender at that sort of 191 centimetre mark. So he's not a key defender, but if you're looking for that interceptor, really good rebounder who can find it at volume in defence and really be a good component to a defence, I think really look no further than an Angus Baker. I think he's terrific. And again, each of these guys I'm looking at as players I really project to be pretty well AFL quality. So I think there's really some guys here where they should really be looked at. And then at 36, I've got Jack Avery. So what he was doing in the Waffle Colts, he was leading the competition again in defence in disposals. So and that's not easy to do in defence. And then ultimately he moves up to the Waffle at league level, and again he really plays a good brand of footy there. So, and again he's that sort of, he plays a fairly sort of loose checking intercepting game, finds a heap of it, but when he was asked to play more of a, I guess, shutdown role almost in a respect on Tyler Keitel, he kept him to 2 goals, and with a Keitel, he kicked, I think it was 70 goals this season in the Waffles. So doing that as an overager, that's sensational, and he's not even that full key defence guy, where it's more he'd be, for AFL purposes, at third tall. So being able to both intercept and, I guess, negate an opponent's influence is that sort of, I guess, having that sort of defensive capability when he wants to. I think with an Avery, he's really a good piece there as well. So, next up, I've got, at number 38, I've got Ronald Fejo Jr. So, for me, he's basically a 2-year-older version of a Messiah Wanganeen-Malira. So, just in terms of what he does on the outside, he's just that highlight reel waiting to happen. So, he's got the speed, he's got the agility, he just dances around guys, but then he's got the skills as well. So, if I'm looking for that outside spark, I would have been very happy to use, whether it's a late pick, whether it's a rookie pick on this guy. So, very unlucky to be overlooked. But if he continues with his footy and keeps improving, and he played a really good brand of footy in the Sandful reserves this year, I think there's potentially a spot for him on an AFL list. So, one certainly, again, I'd be tracking and really like his game. And another one as well, who's those sort of couple of years older, Casey Voss. So, and again, this is in the Sandful. So what he's been doing is that sort of a few years older defender, just such an improved player, whether it's finding a heap of the footy, using it pretty well in defence, really good interceptor, and he can really shut down an opponent as well. So he's really one of those very good all-round defenders who, it's just, for AFL purposes, he's a plug and play. If you're that one piece short where you just need that capable, good general defender, get Casey Voss. He's really good. So son of Michael, so he's got the pedigree, but ultimately he's showing that year-on-year improvement, and he's that pretty well AFL standard guy already. So I'd be very, very comfortable bringing him into an AFL club at the end of the day. And then we have to jump quite a bit further back. So this is sort of, I guess, the second young guy out of the under-18 ranks. So I've got Morgan Ferres. And his story is really fascinating, where out of the under-18s, he played 2 games in the under-18s and the rest were in the reserves in the Sandful, but in the 2 under-18 games, he got a total of 13 goals. So 7 goals in one, 6 in the other. So just at about a 191 or so, just a really strong marking forward. So he's almost that equivalent to, I guess you could say, a Tim Membry in terms of that style and play at that height. So you're getting that sort of, I guess, third tall marking forward. So, if you're sort of after that and you want that inside 50 option, I think Ferres is a really good option for a club, and one, again, I thought was probably a bit unlucky not to go late or rookie as with all these other guys. And then 51, so again, we've got another junior. So we've got Lachlan Paton. So, and what he did in that last game of the season for him as well was just absolutely terrific in the under-19 champs. So he can play whether it's mid-forward, but he really brings that pressure. And he plays a really good game. He can take on the game with his run. I was finding he was hitting those inside 50 targets, even being a threat around goal as well. So he really brings that whole package. But he's someone where he could almost be maybe that sort of Jack Sinclair type, where he just really brings the pressure. And you could even put him behind the ball if you wanted and have him rebound. But yeah, I just love the pressure he brings in particular. So I think he'd be one of those easy players where you can just play him as a component of a system and really have him there as that sort of, I guess, pressure provider. Mostly around half forward. I think that's probably his best spot, honestly. But yeah, I think for AFL purposes, he's one where he could very easily pick up a role for a team. So, was really impressive in each of the games I saw, in fact, last year. And then the last name on my list, so number 53 in my rankings, we've got Corey Preston. So, he was playing in the NAB League this year, and he is that sort of tiny bit older. But I really liked what he did in defence. So again, another general defender. And look, he has played forward in the past, but I like him in defence. He just looked so settled, so composed there. Really good ball user, can intercept a little bit as well, can shut down his opponent if he wants to. So you've got that right blend of components to his game, where I think is very compatible with AFL play, and he could be a good chance to make it at that level potentially. So they're my 10. I think they all represent great value in the upcoming preseason supplemental period, and potentially if they don't get picked there during the mid-season draft. So if any of these guys would be listening to this video, I'd be saying keep working at your game, because my personal opinion is you've got the talent where you could contend for a spot, not just on an AFL list, but to even possibly make the grade. So personal opinion, but yeah, I've liked what I've seen. So But anyway, if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.